Eger is a city in the northern of Hungary, located on the picturesque slopes of the Low-Buk Mountains. It is the capital of Has County balneological resort. Eger is considered one of the most beautiful Hungarian cities and is famous for its Baroque architecture. Among its attractions, the mighty ancient castle and several churches stand out. Make sure that you are subscribed. Let's travel the world together. Eger was founded by Saint Stephen, the first king of Hungary, at the end of the 10th century, when a Romanesque cathedral was built on the castle hill. Although the settlement on the side of the modern city existed already in the early Middle Ages. At that time, these lands were inhabited by German tribes and then others. Throughout the Middle Ages, Eger was one of the most important Hungarian cities and was considered the gateway to northern Hungary. In 1241, Eger was destroyed during the Mongol invasion, but it was quickly restored and continued its development. During the reign of King Bela IV, a powerful citadel was built here. In 1596, Eger fell to the Ottomans and was subdued by the Turks for a century. At the end of the 17th century, the city, like the whole of Hungary, was included in the Austrian Empire. In the 18th century, Eger experienced its heyday and its historic center flourishes with Baroque architecture. In the 20th century, the city becomes part of the independent Hungarian state and receives the status of a balneological resort. The first thing you will most likely see in Eger is the Eger Fortress. The view of the city from this place is simply amazing. This is not a lonely castle but a whole complex, which includes a museum, an art gallery, caves, and of course a Gothic palace. In the 15th century, a Gothic bishop's palace was built here, which now houses a museum of history of the castle. To this day, this fortress has preserved powerful walls and bastions. Inside, you can also visit the Coinage Museum and an art gallery with paintings by famous Hungarian artists. The Eger fortress is famous for the fact that at one time it was she who defended the city from one of the Turkish invasions and survived, despite the large preponderance of the Turkish side. On the territory of the fortress, there is a museum of Istvan Dobo. Under house leadership, the Hungarians managed to repel the Ottoman siege. Based on this story, the Hungarian writer Geza Gardoni wrote the novel Stars of Eger, and in 1968 the novel was filmed by director Zoltan Barkoni. The fortress is the main city attraction. It was from the fortress hill that the medieval settlement of Eger once began to develop. The minaret is the northernmost Turkish minaret in Europe. It was built in the end of the 16th century by the Ottomans from red sandstone and a height of 40 meters. At the top there is an observation tower which is reached by 97 steps. During the Ottoman rule, 10 minarets were built in Eger. Only this one has survived to this day. This is the northernmost of all the surviving minarets in Europe from the time of the Ottoman Empire. Earlier, of course, a mosque was also attached to it, but it has not been preserved. The minaret is so firmly on the ground that all attempts by the townspeople to demolish it ended in fiasco. This is due to its unusual design. The minaret has 14 facets, which makes it so durable. Now on its top, in addition to the crescent, there is also a Catholic cross. Moreover, as a sign of benevolent relations between Hungary and Turkey in the December month, one can hear the call to prayer characteristic of mosques. And in 2016, an amazing story happened. A Muslim Turk who lives in Eger was allowed to call Muslims to prayer from the balcony of minaret. The uniqueness of this event is that it happened for the first time in 327 years. Inside the minaret there is a staircase with a length of 97 steps, climbing which you can just go crazy. There is very little space. The climb is rather steep and the railing and the balcony itself are rather awesome. In 1836, a grandiose basilica was built in Eger, which at that time became the largest church in the country. The power of the bishops came to end after the reforms of the 50s of the 19th century. The city gradually began to lose its importance. The Budapest-Miskolc railway line passed away from Eger. It is the only neoclassical monument in the city and the third largest church in Hungary. The cathedral was built with 8 Corinthian columns. Above the pediment are statues of Saint Peter, Paul, Stephen, and Ladislaus, created by the Italian sculptor Marco Casagrande. Inside you can admire beautiful frescoes. Finishing and decoration of the interior lasted 120 years because the frescoes on the wall and aisles took much more time than the construction of the building itself. In the northern part of the temple, is the image of a weeping mother of God. This is the most decorated part of the temple. In the southern aisle is the chapel of Saint Michael. The most beautiful painting can be seen on one of the side altars. Beauties is a small park surrounded by many wine cellars. There are various rumors about the name, but the most popular of them claim that the valley is named after Venus. In addition to legends, the valley will delight you with delicious wine. producers whose wines are not found on the shelves of ordinary supermarkets, the best local varieties, and the highlight of the program is Hungary's most famous ox blood wine. The price tag is also pleasant. A glass of excellent drink will cost around €1. Right in the cellars you can buy a bottle or two at a lower price than regular stores, and the range is much wider. Don't be afraid to taste everything that seems interesting to you. Most likely there are few places to find so many wineries with such reasonable prices. Look out for the region-specific Muscatali, Lenica and Medoc Nord wines. It's not a pity to spend even a couple of days in the valley, but there won't be much to eat in the cellars themselves, so stock up on cheese and olives in advance.